In this week's episode, I did something new where I had two guests on at the same time. It's been a while since I've done something like this, and it wasn't something that I was super keen on doing. It's not the direction that I wanted to take the podcast, but I think it works very, very well in this instance, and it makes so much sense for these two to be together. So in this week's episode, I had Chelseay and Sadie on, and they're attempting the fastest known time across the Severn Way. They're doing it together, and I'm super excited to see how they do. They're actually attempting it the week that I'm releasing this podcast episode, so head over to their pages, find out more about what they're doing and why, and the different support that they're getting. And yeah, it's going to be an incredible journey, so I'm sure they'd love for you guys to follow along and just see how they get on. They'll be starting on Sunday, and they're aiming to be finished by Wednesday, all things going to plan. So fingers crossed for them. We'll get straight into the podcast. Welcome back to the Adventure Athletes podcast. What was your call to adventure? So whoever wants to go first.
Don't know. I found trails, and then it just opened so many doors. And then I did one trail run and my first marathon, and I think within that I was like, I want to see what else I can do. And then it's just grown, and it's grown quite quickly, especially since we met.
Yeah.
Because last year was all my ultras, and it's just expanded, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, for me.
I find Chelsea, therefore adventure. Yeah.
Just seeing what's out there.
Yeah, we weren't friends until we met about a year ago.
Yeah.
Just over a year ago in April. And I think, I would never be here now today doing this.
I also probably wouldn't be though. So I think it's a balance. I remember watching UTMB and being like, whoa, that looks incredible. And then did a trail run, my first one. And one of my very first was Beast of Klangatok by Limitless Trails. And it was so hard because you just go straight into an incline. And I'm not I was nowhere near a hill runner. I was barely a runner. Hardly a runner at all. And then just opened doors. And then we've done Dragon Slayer together. Say together, you just left me for this. Yeah. And then probably Wye Valley last year, isn't it?
Yeah.
As led to what else can we do?
So what changed when you guys met then? What's been the thing that's driven you guys to want to do more since meeting?
I think Chelsea's inspired me because obviously, she does crazy distance, crazy challenges, I think being around her is quite infectious. Just seeing what she achieves, it's okay, if she can do it, what can I do? So I think for me, what she's achieved has inspired me. So.
But I think it's wouldn't have done, so when, Wye Valley wouldn't have done that FKT, you're the first person, isn't it, that I was okay, it's been on my mind. After you killed me in a 5k PB. By the way, I'm thinking of doing 110 miles, I think it was meant to be, isn't it, 120. I wanted to set this FKT, and then, I knew I would need people to be around me. And so couldn't do this without the trail community. Well, we've sort of got our own trail community, isn't it? But now we're here.
What's been the steps then? Because you said that you've done a few events together and stuff, and then you're I want to set this FKT. That's quite a jump to be I'm going to do an event to being I'm going to set a fastest known time.
Yeah. I don't know. So, for the Severn Way, so last year I had done a few ultras. We did Dragon Slayer 55k together-ish. What else did we do? We did marathons. You had paced me to all my road PBs. And then we had done loads of trail running, isn't it, over the summer. And just loved it. And I had spotted that there was a fastest known time for a female for Wye Valley walk, and it was 72 hours, I think that was the time. And I was I'd done 100k in July. I'd done Peak District 100k, and it went okay. And I was like, oh, what happens if I just push that a bit further, and saw that it was quite local, easy enough to get to, it end in Way, like Chelseay not far from here. Like, what happens if I try that? And then the idea was born. I said it out loud to you first, and then that just grew, and eventually then we ended up doing it in November, which was obviously tough in its own thing over winter. But soon, I think it was like 2 days after that, we were at the pub, isn't it, celebrating. We were like, okay, what else is there? And the Severn Way came up, and we had seen nobody had done it. So already the idea was probably definitely in my mind since last year. Because not that Wye Valley wasn't hard, it was so tough in like so many different ways, but I think like at the end of it, we just knew there was more, isn't it? We knew that there was more to do and test, and fastest known time is really cool, but like setting it, like, yeah, what are the chances in it? Normally you're chasing it down, and also just noticing like there's not a lot of women, because it's not only Severn Way, like Cambrian Way doesn't have a woman FKT yet, North Coast 500 doesn't have a woman FKT yet, although somebody is attempting it now in June. So it jumped from like this, and then the reason Severn Way sort of came forward, I guess, is I say us because it was like, yeah, I entered us into a competition with Essex, and we ended up winning. Yeah, and then I didn't realize, not we, this is all my fault. I didn't realize like the terms and condition is like, yeah, it has to be done in May 2025, beginning of June, like later states, because they wanted to do some of it for the branding release, and I guess, and yeah, just didn't realize that time frame. And then we were like, okay, well, what an awesome opportunity, can't miss out. And so probably something that we may have done at the end of the year or next year is now happening in 2 weeks. So yeah.
But you said you thought about it like a year ago, so
yeah, good luck. How long has it been since?
November. 6 months.
6 months. Yeah, like there's
8 months. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few that I've wanted to do.
Yeah, this is just like your FKT was just the beginning.
Yeah,
like
all of us.
I feel like this is just going to be our life every summer now, isn't it?
So how much further can we push? Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably just been there subconsciously, and then you've been marathon training, so loads of miles, and then I've been training for UTMB TDS. So it's not like we're going in with no training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's a good adventure, isn't it? Like, what's the worst that can happen?
You say that now, I'll ask you again.
Yeah.
Oh,
will you guys in the same room together? Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
So, prep's gone well then. So, have you done any specific prep for it? Or are you just doing marathon training, you've just been doing UTMB, and then you're just like, we'll just do this as a bit of a laugh?
I think I haven't done any specific training for this. I've just come back, just finished, like, obviously a marathon block. You've been training, still trail running, but our weekly mileage has been quite similar. So I think it's just like, whereas I've done nothing specific, you're probably more trained for it.
In some ways, though, like, because, yeah, like, I haven't stopped running even after Wye Valley, isn't it? And yeah, I love the trails. Like, I love trail running, but you do as well. It's just your training
for road.
Yeah, for road. And so, I don't think you can really train for 220 miles. Well, works out to be like 230 because of some bits, and then there's the detours that'll probably happen, or mistakes because of self-navigation. But you can't go and run 100 miles as a training block because you won't recover. So we've just kept mileage up. We've done runs together where we can, and like going just on experience, like when we did Wye Valley Walk, because you paced me for the last 24 hours of Wye Valley, like 100k. So we've got a lot of experience between us. I don't think that there's been anything specific for this. It just happens that we've had running goals that have probably helped our training for this. So like UTMB TDS, your marathons for you. Like, yeah, it's just a combination of everything. It's probably like a bit of a wing it, isn't it? Just see what happens.
What other sort of prep goes behind an FKT? Because like I'm quite new to the world of FKTs. Like I'm starting to talk to more and more people that are doing them, and I'm getting really excited by it. But like, what else is there? Because it's obviously not just running.
Crew,
huge. I think that's
key. That will make or break us. So I know that there are a lot of. There's different ways that you can do FKT as a supported, unsupported, team, not team, all of that. But when it comes to the distance runs, whether it's a FKT or not, I think having people there to crew you, clean you, like put you back together, will make a big difference. So like my partner Laura, your husband Gary, like they are going to be our crew chiefs. They were last year, and then we've got 2 friends supporting as well. And yeah, I just think if you plan that well and like the fueling that goes along, they know what we need. They've also been part of this journey just as much, isn't it, from the start? Yeah. So they were there last year. They've been there on a lot of our runs, whether with you or me. They know what we need, and they'll put us back together when, like last year when my feet were falling apart. Gary had me there, like taking my socks off because and they are the things that help so much when it is this distance running. I think like I wouldn't be chasing, and this is just my like preference. I wouldn't chase a quick or short distance FKT because I am not a quick runner. Like I'm 100% not a quick runner, never gonna be, and like that's okay. But I really like the long distance where there's probably more planning to it. There's more like knowing the fueling, making sure you're hydrated, the change of clothes, the sleep, no sleep, whatever it is.
Lack of.
Yeah. So we did some planning last night. It's bit by bit. And the ones that we do, they get broken down in stages, which is quite nice. So we'll meet you always like sort of go from one stage to the next, and I think getting to that next stage is like a real highlight. So when I saw you in Hereford last year, I was like, wow. And like it meant like breakfast, change of clothes, brush my teeth. It meant so much more than just like, yeah. And then obviously I hadn't seen you in the beginning. So I don't know if that answers, but yeah, it's but everywhere. A lot goes into it.
Yeah. So do you have like a strategy like for fueling, for pacing, for like this is where I'm meeting certain people, or is it just sort of like go out and see what happens?
Oh no, that's quite finely tuned, isn't it? I think there's definitely a strategy. We've talked about it on the way up as well, haven't we? Because obviously it's over 4 days. We'll have both of our partners, but we need to allow them to sleep because obviously we've got our friends Tom and Kirsty that will come in the first night and the second night to get us through like the darker sort of the time where your morale might dip a bit. They'll get us through that, but then obviously they go, so then that's where then, although our partners are there all the way through, they'll be expected to step up and come in, do some running.
They're not only crewing, are they?
Yeah,
they'll be pacing and running with us, so
Yeah.
it's a lot on them.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
But so that there's a lot of planning I think involved in knowing who's going to be at what point, what their job is, knowing that when we might have dips, like what's expected of them, like what they'll need to do. So there's quite a lot of I think planning in there, in the background, just obviously to make it as less painful as possible for us.
Cool.
Sorry, I don't know if that's answered.
It definitely does. Who sort of takes the lead on the planning side of things? Is that something that you two do together? Do you do it with your partners involved, or? Well,
last night we all got round the table, didn't we? All of us that are involved. I think
we all probably lead on it, but we together.
We all have a say, but I think a lot of our trust is like Chelsea's done it. Like although we've been part of it before, like you're the one that's been she was in the trenches. She was in her FKT. Like you can speak from experience, like you've done it before, so I think it helps, like you've got that experience, like, so we all have a say, but like it's kind of like
all this misplaced faith.
Yeah, no, I trust you. So because obviously this is going to be like a new challenge for me. Like the most I've done was like 60 miles with you, so
yeah,
but
again, like, we'll play on each other's strengths, and I think so when we do talk, we think similar. That's one of the reasons we're doing it together. Like, I wouldn't be able to, like, there's not many people, there's no one actually I can hands down say that I would say, like, come and run 220 miles with me. Like, that just isn't a thing, because to be able to do that when you're in a dark place, or know that, like, we can go 6 hours without talking and still be okay at the end, or whatever, like, you don't find many of those, do you? And I know, like, people in the trail community have that, and they have it from their paces, but, like, I'm sort of fairly new. I only started running really properly running last year, January. I've only really touched on trails then, like, a few months in terms of the bigger ultra distances. It's all new. But there's not a lot of people, probably in my whole personality, that I would be like, yeah, come and run. I sometimes can't run 5k with somebody, let alone 220 miles. So, and that's nothing against anybody else. That's just very much who I am. I'm, like, normally quite reserved, and, like, probably get in my own head and just go on. So us four, we've worked well, like, the last year. Like, it's a trust thing between all of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we know Gary and Laura get on. Like, we know that they planning a party because we got a camper. So, you know, it's a holiday. Coffee stops.
Yeah.
Like, they know where they're going, and we would probably just be like, yeah, okay, we'll just do the running. But yeah, for me, like, there's no one I would have wanted, I could imagine doing this with, and the game that goes down to that trust, isn't it? Like, but that would happen in any run. So if you get a pacer or somebody, like, I guess for a time, so when you pace me or anything, and I think you trust that person to guide you when it's hard. Now we'll be pulling on each other's strengths, so, like, we'll just play to different strengths. Like, you're super competitive, and I am, like, not competitive. Yeah, like, in my own head. But so, like, when we might be chasing down the time, or we might be chasing down, there's no ways that you're gonna want to let that go, and, like, that's just not in your nature, is it?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, for me, I'd be like, okay, it's gone, but then I'd probably beat myself up a little bit. So I think we'll just play to each other's strengths, and again, like, we can just run quietly, which is also nice on the trails. Like, we don't have to fill the space.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you find you're quite different in your approaches to things, and, like, your attitude when it comes to, like, when you're in that dark place? Like, I've been bringing it up a lot on the podcast recently because I did the backyard ultra with Jenks, and he's, like, the super happy, positive person, isn't he? And I'm just not. And I, like, we'd get back to camp, and I would be like, I fucking hated this. Like, this is awful. And he'll get back and be like, that was the best lap ever. Like, yeah.
I think we're both very, very similar in the way we think, the way, like, personality, but then when it comes to, like, being in that hard place, like, I've said to you, I'm like, I think that's the fear. That's the fear, is, like, how soon I'm going to hit that, I don't want to do this anymore. How soon in the 4 days is that going to come, and how long am I going to have to battle that to get to the finish? Whereas, like, I know you love all of it. You love every minute of it. It's like one big running holiday. And she keeps telling me it's a great running holiday. I'm like, So I think when it gets tough, I think we both struggle, but in completely different ways.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about in the car, isn't it? Like, so last year, I know I'll keep going to, that was one of the hardest challenges I did. Like, the 100k I did before was fun, and I was on voice note to you guys, and I loved that 100k in July. It was an absolute blast. Like, it was just good fun, and yeah, like, probably, that was, like, one of the early times I think a competitive side came out of me. But for Wye Valley, because it was in November, like, ran so much in the darkness, and on the second night, we hit a detour, and you and the more were pacing and guiding, and they were ahead of me because I was so slow and I was so tired, and in my head, like, my battles come more with like the assumptions of what people think. That's probably what my battles are. In terms of like thinking I'm going to quit or I want to quit, I haven't, and touch wood because I don't really want to, I haven't really hit that yet. And that's probably why the Severn Way was discussed a lot at the end of Wye Valley, because I hadn't got to a point where I needed to battle the thought of like I want to stop, because that didn't come for me. And not to say that won't come this time, because we know in the ultra world like so much can happen so soon and so quickly. And like if anybody's been watching cricket in 250, like all those elite athletes, things have happened like before they even hit 100 miles. So there's a lot of unknowns. In terms of my mental battles, like I haven't hit that point of I want to quit yet. We will see. Yeah.
And I'm the opposite. Like, I know it's going to be a mental... like, physically, I know I will hit that wall a lot sooner than you. Like, you haven't hit it yet. Like, I will.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
No, I will. And it's just, like, battling through, yeah.
Yeah, but you've done... the stuff that you have done, like, is just... So, like, I'm just going to say, like, you're the quickest, like, super quick. Like, my marathon times, like... again, like... we went out last year for Amsterdam for me to get to get a qualifier for comrades. You paced me. It was like a jog for you. I couldn't breathe. I was at the end, so he's like, come on, just keep going. I was like, for how much longer? I felt sick. I thought my lungs were gonna blow up. You're just like, yeah, this is a nice little jog. Like, that's where the differences are. And I'm gonna say, like, I'm still traumatized from when you paced me to a 5K PB. Like, that is when I would have wanted to quit. So I would 100% like, yeah, it would have been easy for me to slow down. Maybe not quit. I would have wanted to like slow down and like the time wouldn't have mattered. Whereas like you're really good at keep pushing and chasing that goal. So I think like there's differences. I am traumatized by 5K. Like I don't think I've ever felt that sick in my life on a run.
I like how you're like, yeah, I'm traumatized from this, but you're still out running together. So. Yeah. So are you feeling ready for the FKT? Like, especially considering you was like, oh, this is a lot sooner than we was expecting.
The question I think there is, would you ever feel ready?
Yeah.
You know, think when you go into anything that big, there's always going to be at the back of your mind, I could, you know, you could train more. You're always getting stronger. So therefore, I don't think you're ever really ready, because you can always be stronger than what you were yesterday, the day before, the week before.
Yeah, I agree. How do you say that you're ready? Like,
just like, I'll link it in with like I'm doing the Pegasus Slam, but I'm doing it in a week rather than over 6 months. And like, when I first came up with the idea, it would seem like this big unachievable thing, and I'm like, I have no idea why I said I'm going to do this. Like, this is stupid. Again, Jenks' fault. So I was like, that's how I started off. But now that I've been training for it, like I'm at a point now, like I've still got 3 months before I do it. But I'm like, I could do it next week if I wanted to. Like, I feel like within myself, I'm like, it was going to suck no matter what. Like, and there might be points where I'm not going to do it. But, like, in my head, I'm like, if I'm not ready now, then when am I ready?
I think that's probably the same for us. So, again, like, we might get there and be, you know, at the end of it, like, oh, if I'd done that much more training, I may have felt stronger at the end. Maybe that's it. But I don't think you can ever say that you're, like, 100% ready. In terms of, like, planning and sport, like I feel that Wye Valley gave us all something to pull on in terms of for experience, and so taking that forward. I don't know if how do you like, yeah, things might go wrong.
Like when you signed up, did you think it was going to be unachievable? Like, was there something like this is like massive and like scary?
It's massive and it's scary,
but not
unachievable, because it's just a case of, like, the way I look at it is, I am going to reach breaking point, but when that happens, how soon, I don't know. I've just got to, obviously, I'll be at battle with myself for a lot longer if it comes sooner, to the end. Like, it's going to be hard, but we'll finish. I'm confident we will.
Things, yeah.
And I think with the preparedness, like, I've just come off an 18-week block for a marathon and didn't get it. I felt ready going into it, and I felt really confident that I would achieve that time, and I didn't. So I think as runners we all know that like it's never guaranteed, you know. You can train really, really well, and sometimes things go wrong, but I think you've got to have it up here to just be able to push through, haven't you?
And adapting, like, on these multi-day ultras, and like, so you'll be doing, I guess, all the small ones, or you're doing the 100 mile as well? No, I was going to say that, yeah. But on the multi-day, or on, like, you know, when you're heading into day 2, like, it's more about adapting and being resilient than it is sticking to such a plan.
Strategy.
Like, you've got your idea, because you can't not have it, and we've spoken about it, and we know the planning, we know, like, sleep for the crew, and we know sleep for us, or no, you know, but that will change depending on how our bodies are. And so it's about adapting. Like, Wye Valley, when we hit that detour, was all about then adapting, and you shoved me in the car and said we negotiated to 10 minutes of sleep.
Yeah. And then we all went quiet, and she didn't trust that we were going to only let her sleep for 10 minutes, so I was up in about 6.
Yeah. So, but it is all about adapting and, like, knowing, like, and the smallest things. So last year, like, packed all this food I thought I'd want. I had a Nutella sandwich every 10k pretty much, and that was like the best. I look forward to it so much every time, and because that's what my body was working on and functioning in, like, yeah. So you can plan as much as you want. What happens on the day is a whole different game, isn't it? Like,
No.
yeah, maybe the first 100k, 100 miles is pretty okay-ish, but from then onwards, you just adapt.
Yeah. It brings me into, like, a good point about the Nutella sandwich. How important is nutrition for this sort of stuff when you're doing such a big challenge? Because, like, obviously when you look at, like, marathons, you're like, right, I need this amount of carbs at this time. Do you ever think about that when you're doing these, like, multi-day things? Or is it just like, I just want to eat shit?
I think the worry is that appetite goes,
Yeah.
and you need to fuel. Like, you won't get to the end if you don't fuel well, or don't fuel at all. But I think it becomes, the longer you're out there, the harder it becomes to be able to take on that fuel. Yeah. I think that's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah. We spoke about this, but yesterday when we were running, isn't it? Like, we're not gonna aim for a certain amount of carbs. Like, yeah, the elites do, and they'll be like, okay, at this checkpoint, they'll have their bag ready with so many carbs, so many this. But that, like, I am no elite, and that is not gonna happen. So, like, for me, it's knowing, I know that I probably need to, not overfuel, but definitely have more than what I might need for the certain, especially in the beginning, where I'm capable of drinking a carb drink, where I'm capable of eating a sandwich, where food still tastes good, feels good, is good. And then as time goes on, yeah, that might change and might be. So we both know what we like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we both got the carb drinks that we like. We'll make sure that they're at every checkpoint.
And we did say, didn't we, that obviously, and the crew have got to make sure that, like, when we come in, we have an empty bottle. So every time we come in, it's
empty. We've had it because almost like forcing us to have the carbs and have the liquid and the hydration, and it's probably going to be hot. Like, that's something that is a bit unknown. And last year, Gary told me off. So I'd done 2 checkpoints. Him and Laura, like, were crewing in the beginning until you joined the next day, isn't it? And I'd done 2 checkpoints and I hadn't drunk enough. I know I hadn't. But I was probably like, I was on my own. I was in the dark in the morning. It was still cold as winter, like, you just don't. And he told me off. And it stuck with me all the way, so that, like, even when I was seeing things and being in that detour, like, I still drank and I still ate, probably because of something he said at the start. And so they know that, like, they'll have to make sure and tell us off. And I've asked them again to tell us off, isn't it? Because that worked. And because of him doing that is probably a reason I was able to finish. So fueling is important. And yeah, whether it's like eating whatever you want, I love salt and vinegar crisps. They're like a go-to. Yeah, my sandwiches. Yeah, like, that's okay. It's going to be for what works for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, go to your comfort foods, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got, like, this perfect idea in my head of, like, I'm like really sports sciencey, so I'm like, oh yeah, like when I'm planning my food, I'm like, I have to hit this, and I try and make it perfect. And then when it comes to the event, I'm just like, just give me some cake.
Yeah.
Like, I just eat watermelon and cake basically.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, the plan just goes out the window for me. So I'm always curious to see what everyone else does. But I look at like Courtney DeWalter, and it's like, she's like, yeah, McDonald's. Like,
and
tacos.
tacos, yeah. So, and I get like, it's hard, isn't it? Because when you're training, you probably do sort of stick to like what the ideal would be.
I definitely don't.
Yeah, like I try, like I would have, like I set my watch beeps at us, drink, eat, whatever. On the day in an event, like that is, and you know if an event's got good food, isn't it? Like that also just, yeah, for me it's a bit more difficult just because I don't eat some stuff, but yeah, like, yeah, I think it's just gonna be, we did Timbalum last weekend, we like ran up, down, and then we passed that shop, saw slush puppies, and we were just like, yeah, that's what we want, and then like just sat there having, but it made a big difference, doesn't it? So, I think it depends on the day, on everything, on what we want, and then like, yeah, now it's just gonna be a big running holiday with good food, isn't it?
I love how you're thinking. You're like, oh my god, you gotta stop saying that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
She keeps telling me that.
Enjoy it. I can say that because I'm not going to be doing it. What comes with, like, what's the appeal for an FKT then? Like, what makes you want to do it? Where does that drive come from?
It's probably a combination of everything. Like, this one is a big thing on. So there's probably like two sides for me. There's definitely like a two side thing. Like, I want to show that an ordinary person can do something extraordinary. Like, I work full time. I have 2 very needy dogs. I have my partner balancing a house and life, and balancing running. And I don't get all the miles that people get. Like, if they are at another level or don't have as much responsibilities. I'm not saying like, you know, like, I just want to show that somebody ordinary who's balancing life can do this, and then even more so like as a woman. So when you look at FKTs or events, even, there aren't enough women on the trails. There aren't enough of us like showing that we belong there. And it's not to say that you know, like, yeah, maybe history is like showing that women shouldn't run in certain things, but on the trails it's more prominent. In Chianti I did in March, there was almost 1,000 people in the field, but only 150 women. That's quite a big like portion difference. And where it is easier, not saying it's easier, we have a few more challenges that we have to like navigate across, but that doesn't mean we can't do it or shouldn't do it and don't belong there. And yeah, probably, so there's that. I really want to show that, and if this and what we do like help somebody feel like they could do something or get outside and put on their trainers, like, that is good. And yeah, then there's the other side, like, where I want to test myself, and I believe like moving is good for you. It's a good mental health thing. I think that there is something in that, but I also want to see like, what can I do? Because last year I would never have ever believed that I could do this. Like, there is, if you spoke to me 18 months ago or however long ago, like, I wouldn't have even thought about it. I wouldn't have thought that I could run, what did we do for Amsterdam? Again, this is going 4:13 in marathon. Like, that would never have been something I could have dreamt of. And that was only like, yeah, a few months ago in like the grand scheme. Or I wouldn't have thought I would have finished 100k. And so it's a bit of like, where can I go and what can I do for me? And like sort of proving that like I'm not really done in this running world. I'm not done at a distance. I'm not done at a, yeah, like and I'm not saying I'm looking for that breaking point. I just think like, if I can, why not try it? Like, everybody's like, what is your why? And there's two that like, again, want to show people you can do it, but also like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And I think the beauty of an FKT is like, if you're signing up for like endurance races, you're running is hard enough, but you are just running. You're making it to their checkpoints where they're going to feed you. I think there's an element of making an FKT your own, and that added challenge of I'm navigating, I'm responsible for fueling myself. I think it's an extra challenge, isn't it, I think? But also it gives you the opportunity to make it your own. If you're going out and doing a 100-mile race, there's an organised race, the navigation's done for, like, all of the other things are done for you, aren't they? So I think it's...
Yeah, this is like just... It's making it our running holiday.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what it is though? Yeah. Like, it's making it work for us. And I think that self-navigation, like, last year was tough. When we were looking for trees that weren't there. And, you know, like, there is a different element. I think, but it also bonds you, isn't it? Like, we've built such a strong, like, bond over that. Like, the four of us and with our friends, like, it's brought people together and more people want to go on the trails, and it probably means just so much more than getting from A to B. It does for me. It just means so much. And I think, like, we'll make it our own, and it's regardless of our names being there, doing 220 miles together is just going to be awesome. Like, it'll be wicked.
You were saying about, like, didn't think you'd do like 100k or like a certain time in the marathon. Like, how have you overcome those barriers that, like, have been in your head? Like, what have been the steps that's helped you achieve that?
This one. Like, seriously, I didn't have a community before, and then when we met and we've just, like, gelled, isn't it? And having people in your corner makes the world of difference. Like, having somebody believe in you, like, I'll challenge myself, and like, I'm quite self-critical or want to push myself, that's just my nature. But having somebody also that's like, you can do this, is sort of gives you, like, I don't know, it almost feels, I don't know, like an untapped belief for me. And I know that's not the case for everybody, but definitely for me. Like, I wouldn't have thought I could do the times that we did if it wasn't for you, and I wouldn't have probably even thought, because you need people along these journeys. Like, and it's really difficult, and the people that do these unsupported, like, I take my hat off to them, because I couldn't imagine, not saying I couldn't do it, but it would make it so unpleasant for me being on the trails for like 4 days by myself. I really like having people around, and people I can laugh with, and we still laugh now about stuff, and so I can only see, like, how many more memories this is going to build.
No, that's amazing. For someone that's starting out then, and they're, like, listening to this podcast and they're like, this sounds amazing, where do they start? What do they do? How do they find that community of people that you're talking about?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, there's plenty of, like, there's groups out there, aren't there, that I think, like, we ran with, when we went to Cardiff, what was that? Yeah. I mean, I think my experience is, like, trail running is, like, a lot different to road running. People on the trails are a lot more chilled. And I just get out there. It's hard, isn't it? If you're on your own and you don't have the people around you, where would you find that? Just get out on the trails, like,
and message people.
Yeah.
Like, the running community, if you spot someone, message them and they'll reply. Like, there's probably not a time that like, social media is massive, isn't it? And I've probably connected with people over social, like Jenks, and I know he came to Running Social and stuff, but that because the trail community is so open-armed, like, at least from my experience, they're very welcoming. If you message and say, like, I want to do this, do you know anybody who's doing, chances are somebody knows somebody who's doing a race somewhere that you can link with or meet. And I guess the first step, like, out of everything is just put on some trainers and go out, whether it's on the trails or the roads, or build, and you'll find your people. Like, I got lucky because also I had tried the whole running club thing before. It didn't work, and so I think you can't just give up. Like, when you do it and maybe they're not for you, that's also okay. Like, and anybody who wants to start out in running as a whole is probably just getting out the door and going running from your house to the bottom of the street, and knowing that that's a start. And and then people want to see other people do well and like supportive, and that's been clear like over the last year where you guys ordered the video for Wye Valley. Like I didn't see it until the end, and then I was already a wreck. And so when you find like people that are supportive, it will make a big difference. But I guess the first step is just trying it, going and seeing what running clubs there are, messaging if you see anybody, like message and ask like, oh, do you know of anybody here or whatever.
I think like putting yourself out there as well, like because like we met at
the shakeout, isn't it?
Yeah. So me and a friend have got like a social running group in Newport, and we put on an event ahead of Newport Marathon, a shakeout run, and that's where we met, wasn't it? Like but there's lots of like social running groups out there, there's lots of events, and I think just putting yourself out there within that community of runners, and you will I think you will connect with people and find people that you can share these crazy adventures with.
And then you want to carry on, don't you? Because it was hard to get out the first time, but then you know that you're going to see somebody and it's that much easier to go for a run again, or it's that much easier to go on the trails, or I'm always going to say about it, I love trails, so trails over road any day, and that's like no offense to road runners, but I love the trails and the community and the food and everything. And when you go out there and it's peaceful and it's quiet and there's not a lot around you, like you sort of just, once you try it, I think there's like almost a hook for it. So it's just about trying, I think the road running community is lovely, but I think road running in itself is quite focused on time. Like a lot of like your goals when you're a road runner will be a particular time in a particular race, and I think trail is not that. With trail I feel like you're just running because you love running. I mean, I know we've got a big goal, and it's ultimately like it is a time goal, but I just feel the pressure is a bit different when you're on the trails. So I agree. And I know that like the elites, they are going for a time, isn't it? So it's not to say you can't have time goals. I think it's what you make it. I've always got addicted to running, and then just loved running because of everything it gives. The trails is just like a bonus. I don't spend all my time on the trails. In fact, I probably only get 2 if I'm lucky a week, but the rest of my running is down on the roads, and you make it work for what's around your lifestyle. Like finding that balance. So
What would be your biggest takeaways from your last FKT that you're taking into this next one?
Oh gosh, there's a whole lot, because it's like a lot of learned stuff, isn't it? I don't know if it's like if I can put one biggest or not.
Everyone will still like you after it.
I was just going to say, so the only thing I've asked from our little group that are doing this, but especially you and Gary and like our 4s, so the race blues, we all know about the race blues, but mine hit me like doubly hard. It was really tough. Probably a combination of everything. I hadn't done something like that. It was winter, it was dark. Anyway, we can analyse it as much as we want. But then I just needed to know that like at the end of it we're okay. So the only takeaway I've got is like I don't want to hit such a deep sort of dip afterwards, because I almost couldn't appreciate what had been done and achieved. And so I've been saying to you a million times over, isn't it? Just message me, just say we're okay, say we're still mates, like we're fine. But in terms of like actual running and planning, I think on reflection, like it went okay, didn't it? The Wye Valley FKT, like it. I'd say the fueling, because the only time I did like hallucinate was when I didn't get fuel in me, and so that is going to be vital. And then we just adapt and change, and know that like how we feel is going to change from hour to hour, not even day to day. It will change hour to hour, and that's okay too. And This one there's not as much pressure because we're setting it. I'm not chasing down a time. I'm not chasing down sort of any specific hours I'm wanting to push and telling you to push me. It's more just like doing 220 to 230 miles is big enough on its own, let alone like chasing down a certain time goal. Like, yeah, we have an idea of what we want to do, isn't it? But it's way different. It's just way different because it is a running holiday this time. Last time was like a proper chasing down.
I think for me, like the biggest, takeaway from when like I joined you on the FKT is like it's gonna be hard. Like,
yeah.
But we still got to the finish. Like, and I think going into this one is, yeah, we know it. Like, I know it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But the experience tells you, like, when it going gets tough, you can still keep going. So just channel that. Like, when it's hard, we've done hard things. Just
it's gonna
keep
be
moving.
Yeah. Like, there's no doubt that it's gonna be tough. And again, like, we'll have different challenges, but we've done hard things before. Running and not running. Like, life is just, there's challenges everywhere and you can get through it. So, yeah. And we'll be on holiday.
What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge that comes up along this FKT?
For me, I think it's going to be physically. My feet. I'm scared for my feet. I'm scared for my feet.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a physical chat. Like,
yeah. It's a combination, isn't it? It's going to be mentally hard. And I think for me, it's going to be, feet, 100%, because if they'll make or break you, isn't it, in such a long run. And the heat, I am a bit worried about.
And fueling, even though obviously we've planned, I think you see, when you watch, like Chelsea said, like Cocodona, like, it can still go wrong. If you get GI issues, then your race essentially could be over. So
I think the running itself, probably the self-navigation, is the most challenging part. And so you follow a book. So we've got the maps, we've got the GPX files, 100%. I've got a race map. Great. That is brilliant. Until that doesn't match what the official route is. And it's that.
Yeah.
Like, we're really lucky that the first day would be quite fine. I managed like the first day by myself last year, and we'll have each other this time. And we've got people running then from the first night, so that's wonderful. And the next day, also wonderful. But on that like Wednesday day, when it will just be us and we're going to be exhausted, navigating the watches, the OS maps, and what the book says, because the FKTs you've got to follow the route, and the Severn Way is like an official guided walkway, so there's all the way markers. But when you're here on this side of the field and you can't see like a K in front of you, and your watch is saying go this way, and the book says like you're on the far right corner in that style, that you don't even know there's a style there. Like, they are going to be challenging when we're so exhausted, because that's when, not that you make mistakes, but that's when you might go up somewhere and it's not there, and fighting that battle to then go the other way is tough. And last year that was really tough for me. I remember we were in a forest somewhere. I don't really remember exactly where. We were in a forest somewhere. You were pacing me and somebody else, and I stood. I was like, I'm not moving until we know which direction we're going.
Yeah.
like I'm not taking a single step further, because we were going up a hill, and then like, I don't know who said we should be going down, and I was just like, there's no ways I'm going up to go down. So I just stopped.
Or down to go up.
Or down to go up, so I just stopped. But we're not going to have that this time, because three days in will be just me and you, and one of us will have to take the leap of going to look for it and back. And again, that's where I think we'll work well, because you might have energy, or I might have energy, and we'll play on each other's strengths, and like, or we'll just suck it up and be like, okay, we'll just go and see it, and then we'll laugh about it and cry about it or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that the navigating part of an FKT is really, really tricky. And it's different when there are people that have done the routes. So Wye Valley, there were some GPX files already. We weren't expecting a bridge closure though. But the Severn Way, the only thing we've got is where somebody's like plot a route, and I've mapped that against the book and an OS maps, but that doesn't mean it's 100% accurate. So it's balancing that. I think that's going to be take away, like, we know fueling, we know feed, we know, like, looking after ourselves. I think that's one of the biggest challenges.
We want to avoid doing any extra.
Yeah.
Because 230 is more than enough.
Yeah.
How did you learn the navigation stuff then? Is that just something that you guys have practiced? Have, like, you gone out and recce'd the route at all, or
haven't had a chance to recce. The first bit actually follows some of Wye Valley last year. So we started in Haffron Forest, the famous boardwalk. You got up to the source of the river, so you'll do that in the Howam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll do some of that route, and we come out, and then so we got up to come back down, and I'll know most of that from last year's run. I didn't know anything going into Wye Valley. I only got a chance to recce the first 20 miles. But that's part of the adventure. Like, when we run, you'll be like, hey, the map says this, you'll know everywhere we go, and I'm like, wonderful, I haven't even looked at the route profile. Because that's where we, like, yeah. I did, when I did Chianti, I didn't even look at the route, I briefly saw the elevation, thought, like, this is going to be tough, closed it, dealt with it on the day. Like, whereas you're quite good at knowing the maps, isn't it? And, yeah, like, your navigation last year was brilliant. It was like, I couldn't even function, but like, it was awesome. So no, haven't had a chance to recce. Self-navigation, sort of just learn from experience what happened last year. OS Maps is pretty good, and because you can get the offline files.
And the guidebooks are good, aren't they?
Yeah, that guidebook was good, wasn't it? So
amazing. So it's 2 weeks away now.
Yeah, today.
Excited?
Yeah.
Nervous? Yeah.
Nervous.
Yeah.
Really, really nervous. Obviously excited. Really grateful for, like, I'm just feel super lucky. I feel super lucky. I feel really, really grateful. Like, I've got people in my life that will do this with me. Like, winning from ASICs and having them believe in you. So
it would be a completely different, like, we would do it 100%, but I think the challenge this time is going to be so much different, because obviously we've won the adventure, so, like, we've got the camper van. Last year we done it in cars, and just having that added luxury.
And like, you're going to have this for memories, like, they're going to, part of this whole thing, so obviously, like, without sounding like I'm doing a plug or anything, that's not the case. I think they are making a difference to this, isn't it? Like, they also believe in it. I was on a call with them on Friday, and having them believe in, like, wanting to get the story across of us two doing this, and knowing that ordinary people can do, like, crazy adventures, and knowing that, like, women belong in that, we're the trail community. Like, they want that as much, and they're going to document it, and the memories that we'll have from that is pretty cool. So for me, I just feel extremely grateful and extremely lucky, and, like, not only for, like, having won the competition, but for having people that will jump in and do this with me. Like, I say it all the time, but like, I am really grateful. I feel really, really lucky for the life I have now. Like, just the nerves are there, they're 100% there, but, like, something is different, because I wouldn't be attempting this if it wasn't for people around me, and, like, and having them believe, and then, like, the only thing that comes from that is, like, that feeling of immense gratitude. Like, I can't say it enough, and I say it to you all the time, like, without getting, like, super soppy, and we're on, like, podcasts, and you're not cutting any of the stuff, which is also stressful. But, like, when we were running tomorrow, like, I'm just grateful, and I'm lucky and thankful, and it might all go horribly wrong, or might go wonderfully great, and it's probably going to go everything in between that, but we get to do it. Like, we have two legs at work, we've got minds at work, we have each other, we have people that believe in us, and people that want to be a part of this, and, like, how can that not be a good feeling?
Yeah.
As much as it is scary, and as, like, nerve-wracking as it is, and, like, I have feeling probably quite overwhelmed with it all, like, when I start thinking about it, but at the end of the day, I'm just lucky, just grateful.
Do you guys have like I've got this sense that you've got things planned after this as well.
Yeah. This one's on you because you're doing your one because you want to go and do something crazy. So you can take.
I think we've talked about Cambrian Way.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do the North Coast 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Potentially Cambrian Way first.
Yeah. I think so if we can. Or maybe both. Probably luck, isn't it? So.
Oh, and we've got ARC, Patricia.
There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
You've been wanting to do ARC for how long?
Yes, a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
So
first 100 miler.
Yeah, so doing 220 miles before you do your first, you got to chase the time and arc a little bit, because of the time cut-offs. Yeah, so we've got, and then you're crewing me for TDS.
Yes.
So we've got that. We'll do arc together, Cambrian Way, North Coast 500. Just see where it takes us, isn't it?
I mean, it seems pretty laid out of like just a few little events going on.
It's dangerous.
It is. So yeah.
This friendship is dangerous,
isn't it? I've been banned from booking any more events. Last year I did one almost every single month, and they just got bigger and bigger. So I've been really good. The only one I've booked now for next year's ARC. Hopefully I'll get into like UTMB 100 miler if I get enough stones. But then like I really like the idea of just doing more FKTs. Probably for what you were saying earlier, where you make it your own. And it's our adventure and the stress that we must give Gary along. Yeah.
This is why I'm glad I live on my own, because I can just do as many as I like without any issues.
To be fair, they would just support us on anything, wouldn't they? If we went back now, we're like, okay, next year we're doing this, they'll be like, okay. They don't really, they don't fight us, do it.
No.
So Laura only sort of does, because last year we did a lot, and I turned like sort of every holiday into a running holiday, so there's like finding that balance. But at the same time, like she's doing the 50k arc as well, so yeah, we've got a lot coming up. Probably more, isn't it?
We're lucky though.
Yeah,
that we have got them to support. They do support.
Oh, so much. Yeah, they'll tease us or make a joke, isn't it? But 100% they'll be there from start to finish. So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I'm really excited to see how you guys get on.
Thanks.
Yeah.
If I could have asked you one question that I haven't done, what would it have been?
Ooh. I think we've covered everything.
I mean, that's good for me.
Yeah. I didn't think.
Nothing I can think of.
No.
Amazing. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you both on.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing how you get on.
Yeah.
Exciting.
It was exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. That was good.
I really loved this episode with Chelseay and Sadie, and I'm hopefully going out to support them next week, so I'll be sharing some of my updates through my Instagram page. So if you want to head over to the Adventure Athletes Instagram, and you can get updates on how they're doing if I manage to make it out to support them there. We've got a lot going on at Adventure Athletes. We've got our usual personal training slots. We've got sports massage that's opened up to everyone now. So if you're looking at getting a sports massage, it's based in Tonnerevel in South Wales. So yeah, if you're local to the area, you need just a bit of hands-on encouragement to get rid of those aches and pains, then book on through our website. If you're looking at getting an online plan, things that's going to help you with your own challenges, I'm opening up a few slots for online coaching as well. I'm not opening up many just because I've got so many other things going on, and I don't want to detract from things like the podcast, the things that I love doing. So it's very limited spaces. So if you are keen, get involved, head over to the website adventureathletes.co.uk and find out different ways that we can help you out. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time, guys.